John North here, and I'm CEO and founder of Evolvepreneur and your host for the virtual summit. The next interview I've been really looking forward to for several months. Our session is called Why You Are the Best Copywriter You Ever Hired, with my very special guest, Jim Edwards. Jim was the first person to publish an ebook on the internet back in 1997, and since then he's gone on to teach around the world on 4 continents, everything from marketing, webinars, self-publishing, video production, sales copy, email marketing, membership sites, and other e-commerce topics. Jim is most famous for his online software wizards, scripts, while it makes many repetitive and difficult tasks such as writing emails, sales letters, or video scripts push button simple. Jim is also known for his landmark programs, including the Net Reporter membership and mini site creator courses and others. Listen carefully what Jim says during this interview. He drops numerous value bombs as much as you, so make sure you take some notes. We'll start with a short video on why, and a little outtake we did because I forgot to hit the record button. But rest assured, Jim sums it up with what you missed very nicely, so let's get to it. If you're an All Access member, we'll provide you with the transcripts and speaker action guides below, and also extra special bonuses and educational content. So let's get started with Jim.
Recording. Is this thing on?
Yes, it's on.
Is it on? Is it on?
Yeah, I've got all this on tape now.
I better be careful with that, because if I get one of those Iris phones, somebody will take that and break into my phone using that.
Oh, is that
okay? So for those of you who are joining us, you missed the first 10 minutes of the interview because John forgot to do it. So I'm going to recap it for you. We talked about why I like unicorns. Unicorns are like sticking somebody the bird because I wasn't allowed to make political posts. I'm really funny and I'm awesome. And so this is going to be a great interview all about sales copy. And no, I didn't just get out of prison. Did I sum it up for everybody?
Summed it up very well. I'm really excited today to have Jim Edwards. He's kind of like a bit of like a god to me in terms of copywriting. I've followed him for a while now, and I'm really excited to see him on my show today on the virtual summit. And I'm grateful that he spent some time because he just come back from a fairly quick and long business trip in terms of what he had to do. So I'm really glad he came. So thanks, Jim, for coming along.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah. And as I said before, we managed to press the record button this time. So otherwise, we would have. All right. So can I talk about a little bit about your backstory in terms of how you got to be a copywriter? Because I understand that you produced one of the first ebooks that ever was produced on the internet. So how did it all come about that you sort of fell into the copywriting area?
Well, here's a couple things. I mean, I know I'm talking about copywriting and stuff. I've actually never written I take that back. I have written way back, like 20 years ago, I wrote sales copy for other people. Mm-hmm. But I actually got started on the internet in 1997. I published one of the first ebooks ever on the internet. It was a book on how to sell your house yourself. And it was basically, I'd written a book, tried to get it published for 4 years by a real publisher. They all flipped me the bird. And so I thought, hey, maybe I can sell it on the internet. And over the course of about 4 years, I got up to the point where it was covering a house payment, 2 car payments, and the electric bill at a $29, $39 sale. So that was pretty cool. So the point was that I couldn't afford to hire somebody to write a sales letter for me. And we were trying to sell with this big website with all these different pages and stuff on it. And I was trying to make friends instead of trying to make sales. And then I was introduced to the concept of a 1-page sales letter, but not one page like, one page, but one page as in big, long page that would scroll down. Might be 20, 30 pages, 40 pages long. And so I had a choice. I could either try and hire somebody, but I didn't have any money, or I could learn how to do it. And so in the fall of 2000, in the fall of 2000, I decided that I was going to get really, really, really good at writing sales copy, not so I could do it for other people, but so I could do it for myself. And so I did, however, write some sales letters. I wrote a sales letter for my employer that ended up generating $300,000 in sales in 4 months. Nice. Of a $97 product. I wrote a couple sales letters for a real estate agent that I did business with who he ended up getting a bunch of listings as a result of it. And then I also converted my 20-page sales letter over to a 1-page sales letter, big long one.
Mm.
was able to increase my sales overnight, literally overnight, because I already had traffic coming to the site,
Yep.
literally increased sales overnight by 250%.
Wow.
So for every one sale I was making, I started making 2.5 sales. So that was really cool. So that was really the start of my journey on learning how to write sales copy. But from that point forward, have never written a sales letter for anybody else. You can't hire me. But that's actually pretty typical, because if you see a lot of the top marketers, a lot of the people who've been doing this for, myself, 20 years now, but you see that they write their own sales copy typically, or they know how to write really awesome sales copy. So if they do hire someone, they know whether it's good or bad. And so the bottom line is that we all need to become awesome copywriters, because that's where all the money is made. But by being able to write your own copy, nobody knows your audience better than you do. Nobody knows your product better than you do. And so you've got to be able to create your own sales messages for several reasons. One being speed, the other being the quality of the copy, the focus of the copy, and the last one being that in order to get really, really, really quality copy, it's super expensive. I mean, it costs you $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 to have a really good sales letter written. This is not the kind of thing you go to Fiverr and say, oh yeah, hey, they'll write a sales letter for $5. Yeah, I'll take it. It'll be great. I'll spend $5 and they'll write me something that'll make me 100,000. And then people just don't understand why it sucks. So you've got to understand the principles of great copy. You've got to be able to create great copy on your own. You just do. Now, once you can do that, do you keep doing it or not? That's up to you. But you have to be able to recognize and create great copy, I believe, no matter what you're selling.
Yeah, I think it's a skill.
The unicorn.
Yeah. So says the unicorn. I think it's a skill you have to have. It's almost like to me in business, two things. One thing you never outsource till last is sales and marketing.
Yep.
I think in business, because if you start outsourcing sales too early, you lose control. And I think copywriting is probably another next stage of that, is if you lose control of what's being said. And it makes a lot of sense.
Yep.
So when it happens, like you talked about funnel hacking live, and obviously we've got to make through the whole presentation. But what were some of the key sort of things you talked about there? Because I saw a couple of bit of snippets, and it looked like everybody really enjoyed your presentation. So what was it mostly? Like give us the highlights, if you like.
Well, one thing that people think is that when you write sales copy and they're thinking about sales copy for a particular project, they think of things like, okay, I got the sales letter, I got the video sales letter, I got the email teaser, I've got the I've got the ads, I've got the all the different things that you have to come up with, and they think of those all as separate copywriting projects that you have to start with the one and then you start over with another and start over with another and another and another. Yeah. And one of the things that I've learned over the years, just because I had to get things done so fast, is I figured out these things that I've always called sales copy building blocks. And once you have figured those out, then you can use them to create virtually any kind of copy you need when you combine them with scripts. So you need to, instead of sitting down and saying, okay, I've got to figure out all these things that I've got to be able to create. And I sit down and I say, okay, I got to create a sales letter, graphical ads, announcement email, affiliate email, a blog post, Facebook ads, all the headlines, the video sales letter, the PowerPoint slide deck, the about me page, sales copy bullets, the tweets, all that stuff. And you think about it in terms of, I have to write this and I have to write this and I have to write this, and then you have to start over again. Nobody's got time for that. Yeah, so if you use,
I'm doing it now.
What's that?
A big job. I'm doing it now.
Right. So if you use building blocks, then all of a sudden you can assemble them, and you can assemble into different stuff. And your typical building blocks are like the topic of the sales message, the target audience, the outcomes they want, the desires that they want, the obstacles that they face, the benefits that they want, the fears that they suffer from, the payoffs that they're seeking, the problems that they want to solve, the pain they want to avoid. And so once you isolate those, then you can recombine them. So for example, let's use the example of ebook authors. So let's say we've got, the topic is book marketing. Our target is an authorpreneur, somebody who wants to use a book to build their business. The outcome they want is they want to be a published author. Their desire is to write a book. The obstacle they're facing is they don't have time.